Hello Twin Lakes Academy Wildcats, it's Miss John here. Today we're going to do a drawing involving lines and shapes. The great thing about this drawing is you're going to get to use your own creativity. Very first thing you're going to need is a piece of paper and some sort of drawing material. I'm going to use a marker today. However, you can use a pencil, you can use something else. So before every lesson, it's going to be important to have some drawing materials and also have some coloring materials instead. It could be crayons, you could have markers, maybe you want to get your pastels out. You can get these at Michael's or at Walmart, or some watercolor paint or some tempera paint. So whenever we're done drawing, we want to be able to have some material available for painting and drawing. It's really important that you come to these lessons prepared. So we're going to do a drawing focusing on candy. Candy can be very fun and very easy to draw, and you'll also be able to use some of your own ideas in this drawing. So let's get started. First thing we're going to want to do is use that geometric shape called a circle. We're going to make one of those really cool lollipops that maybe you've seen them before. They're very large and they spiral around. So the very first thing I am going to do is, let me get it's just a little bit better here. It's new technology, I'm getting used to doing it. You could, what would be nice to do just to remember and stay in the habit of it is to write your name somewhere on your work. At school we always write our name on our work, so always put your signature on there. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is draw a very large circle to make a lollipop. So that's going to be thing number one, drawing my circle. Now the lollipops, if you've seen them, it's kind of this interesting spiral shape inside of the circle. So that's going to be my next thing. If you remember, a spiral goes around and around and around just like a snail's shell. Okay, so now we're going to draw what will be the stick off of our lollipop. Real easy. Just draw one diagonal line down. And then we're going to draw another diagonal line right next to that diagonal line. So we're making the stick of our lollipop, kind of turning this into a rectangle shape. So now I'm going to go ahead and close the shape off. So that's my first shape. For my first piece of candy, I could draw another one big in a different area of the paper too if I wanted to. It's up to me. Next, I'm going to focus on these little candies, the peppermint, the Tootsie Roll, and the Fruit Chews. And you don't have to draw yours exactly like these, but I just want to show you some easy ways to do it. Right now, we're going to take a rectangle shape and an oval shape. So rectangles and ovals and circles are going to be the basis for the inside of our candy. So all over the paper, I am going to start drawing some littler ovals and rectangles and squares because this kind of candy is smaller than a big lollipop. Okay? So now I'm going to go around and draw an oval here. Think over here. I'm going to draw a rectangle. The rectangle is pretty easy. I'm going to draw a diagonal line, 2 lines down from that, and another line like that, because a rectangle has 2 long lines and 2 short lines. Okay? So I also want to make some peppermint, and some butterscotch candy. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe do a circle here. Maybe I'll do a circle here. Let's see. I think I'm going to add another rectangle over here. You can add more or less than me. It's really up to you. And I guess I'm going to draw another oval here. And maybe another circle over here. Okay, so now, ooh, I forgot one other thing. I don't have it here, but lifesavers can be really fun too. A lifesaver is a circle with a little circle inside of it. Okay, so now let's talk about how we make the little bits on the edge of the candy, the paper that goes around our small pieces of candy. This is what I like to do. I'm going to find the end of this piece of candy. So here's my oval. I'm going to go to the end, and I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 curves and bring it back. So here I go. I'm going to do 1, and then I'm going to go back out again, do another little curve, 2, and 3. So now I've got, that little piece of paper on the end, and I'm going to do that again on this side. As you can see, it's kind of a little bit similar, okay? So I'm starting here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Very easy way to make a wrapper. Okay, so now going over to my peppermint, I'm doing the same thing. You can just do a 1, 2, 3, and then right across from that, because if you notice on the candy, the wrappers are right across from each other. They're not next to each other, they're on opposite ends of the candy. That's something you need to think about as you draw these. And I'm going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to go around doing that here and there. If you had a better way to, or maybe a better way or a different way you could draw it too. Here I wonder what it would be like to do a 1, 2, 3 and make it more pointed rather than rounded. So starting at the end over here, and I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 points and bring it back. Remember, your work doesn't have to look like mine. It's yours. You do your best. I kind of like the pointed thing going there. Maybe I'll try that on this piece. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and starting on the other side again, going directly to the other side, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then I'm going to go over to these guys, and maybe on this one I'll do more of the rounded one. And then over here, I'm going to do the pointed one again. 1, 2, 3, bring it back, go right across to the other side. 1, 2, 3. Same thing up here. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, now what's also kind of fun to draw are candy corn. Candy corn are very easy. They are triangles. But on candy corn, if you notice, the triangle is slightly rounded, so we want to think about that as we're working. So I'm going to sprinkle down some candy corn here and there. I guess I'm going to do one here. Well, let me show you how to do that. I probably drew that too fast. Come to the center of your paper and start by doing a little line at the bottom. Just a little line, a little horizontal line, okay? And then what I'm going to do to make the top of the candy corn, I'm just going to kind of do a U up like this, except it's kind of like a cross between an upside down U and an upside down V. So here we go. I'm going to go up like this and bring it around. Easy. Ooh, if I turn my page, I could do my little candy corn in a different direction. let me try over here. So once again, I'm going to draw a little line. And I'm going to just draw a little curved line like this. You can even make it a little bit more pointed if you wish. If it's too hard for you to draw it in the curved way, I suppose you could just draw your candy or your candy corn just as a triangle. It depends on, you know, what your skill or your comfort level is. So, you know, if you want to do more of just a pointed candy corn like that, you could, if that's easier for you. What I like to do as I'm working on this candy drawing is I like to keep turning my paper and explore some other ideas. So here I go. I'm going to make another candy corn here and another candy corn over here. Okay, so those are our basic candy we have going on here. Oh, for the candy corn, I wonder if you noticed those warm colors, yellow and orange. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw 2 horizontal lines right across the middle of each piece of candy corn. So here I go. I'm going to go up just a little bit. I'm going to draw one. Then I'm going to go up and draw another one. So I'm going to do the same on all of my candy corn. And I'm just double checking to make sure. If I've got that little horizontal at the bottom, then I have another horizontal line and another horizontal line. So I'm finding the horizontal line at the bottom. This one's a little bit more curved. I might actually curve it just a little bit if I want to. And then over here again, finding my bottom horizontal, drawing a line and drawing a line. Now I noticed over here with my lifesaver, I want to put my lifesaver into one of these little plastic wrappings. So the plastic wrapping, it's almost like a square or a rectangle that goes around the candy. So what would that be like? So here's my lifesaver. I'm going to draw a line like this. So I've got my lifesaver, and my lifesaver is sitting on this line. Okay? So now I'm going to draw another line on the top of my lifesaver. So I'm just kind of putting it in a little rectangle. So here we go. I'm going to do a line like this. A vertical line. Remember, vertical lines go up and down. Horizontal lines go side to side. Draw another one down like this. And now what I'm going to do on the edges, I'm going to do, there's a little zigzagged line here on the edge of the lifesaver. So here I go. I'm going to kind of just bring a little line out like this, and I'm just going to bring a zigzag line that goes down like this to the end. Okay, so that's one side of my little cellophane wrapped candy. Over here, same thing. I'm going to take it and just bring a little zigzag line down to the bottom. By the way, if any of this is hard for you, just work on the type of candy that is easy for you. Your art does not have to be like mine. My only request is that you try. Well, looks like some of these are done. What could I do next? Well, you know, I could add my own creativity. I could, maybe if I can write, I could write a name for a piece of candy. Or, I think what I want to do on this piece of candy, just to give it a detail, I think I want to draw some diagonal lines across it just to make it look kind of cool. So here I go. So I got that one. I'm going to keep that as a butterscotch. On this one over here, well, I could draw any kind of line or any kind of shape inside the candy to give it a fancy detail. Maybe this time I'll do a curved line. So I'm just going to go through and do curved lines. Remember, you don't have to do yours like mine. You can detail yours however you think it should be. Let's see what else. Oh, I actually wanted to make one of these round ones into a peppermint. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to draw a dot right in the center. And I'm going to make lines that go from the dot to the outside. But I'm going to make mine slightly curved. So watch this. I'm just starting here, and I'm going to curve it. And I'm going to go around, curve it. So I'm just kind of going around and curving it like this in the same direction from the inside to the outside. Now, you know, if that's too hard for you and you want to make a peppermint, another thing you could do is just draw dots and do some straight lines. Oh wow, isn't that funny? This has radial balance. Remember radial balance we've been working on? Okay, moving on to my next piece of candy. Maybe on this I'll just draw some little circles. Maybe this is a very fancy piece of candy with little circles on it. So that's kind of neat. What was the other kind of candy I was thinking of? Oh, you know, just doing like more of like a Dum Dum or a Tootsie Roll type lollipop could be easy too. Let me show you a different way. These are the big pinwheel candies, or big pinwheel lollipops, but I could take this and I could do that over here maybe. Maybe I'll do a circle. Oh, I noticed something. Got my circle shape, my circle geometric shape, and then this is a very long skinny rectangle. That's the stem of the lollipop. So maybe I'll do that in an opposite direction. So here I go. I'm going to draw a circle. Okay. Then I'm going to, I'm going to frill the edge a little bit, just like we did with the other stuff. I'm going to go down. I'm almost going to kind of make like, almost like a trapezoid type shape here. Curve it down, and put a little zigzag line there. And then I'm going to just draw 2 parallel straight lines off of the lollipop and a little straight line here at the end. And maybe today I might even write, I really like the font on this, how it says pop. You know, I could write those letters there. Yeah, I'm going to try something a little bit difficult, but you can do something that works for you. Remember, kids, yours never has to be exactly like mine. Just kind of follow the basic concepts. But I think I actually want to make some bubble letters for my pop. But you don't have to do that. You can do something else. Or not write anything at all on it. Or maybe come up with your own name of candy. I have no idea. Okay, so now I'm basically done with my drawing, and now I need to start to think about how I'm going to color it in, or how I'm going to paint it in, or maybe how I want to use pastels or markers. So at this stage you can start to get out some things that you want to use. In fact, I need to quickly go get some water because I forgot water for my little water cup. So while you're getting your material, I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back. So I'm trying to, you can pick any kind of color scheme you want to today. I'm going to be sticking with my hues. Remember, I have my warm colors on this side, my cool colors on this side, then red, yellow, and blue. Those are my complementary. Orange, green, and purple, those are my secondary. So I'm going to be sticking with bright rainbow colors today. That's what I'm going to do, but you can do whatever you want. One thing that can be really cool when you're working on the lollipop is, one thing I've noticed about the lollipop is that when it goes around, you know, when it has the swirls of color, it kind of goes from inside to outside, kind of like this. For some reason, during the creation process, it sort of gets swirled to the outside like this. I'm just going to keep doing that. Now, by the way, you don't have to be here watching me the entire time. I'm just demonstrating ways to paint. You can start coloring in however you want at this stage. It's really up to you. I'm just going to kind of demonstrate as I go. By the way, our lessons are 40 minutes, so while I'm painting, you should be either painting or drawing or painting or coloring in your work. And you know, you could be using any material you want. Just something to add some color to our art. All of our lessons are going to be about, you know, 40 minutes long. And the way I'm going to design all of the lessons as we go forward for my Duval homeroom students is they're going to be from start to finish 40 minutes long. It'll be drawing, designing, and then painting, coloring it in some sort of way. Whatever you pick to color in, do it. And that's about it. So now I'm going to go into the peppermint. If you want to color or paint in your peppermint, what you can do is paint in or color in every other, ooh, I missed one. Sometimes you got to get your tool out and do it again. Painting in every other little spoke here in this little peppermint. In fact, I think I'm going to draw another one right over here. I'm noticing too, I drew kind of small, so my paintbrush is a little big for what I'm doing. I'm going to go, just keep working. I'm going to go get a smaller paintbrush, and I'll be right back. Another thing I wanted to say is, as we're working in art, you don't have to be looking at the screen the entire time. I'm kind of like there on the side helping. Oops, I screwed that up. The orange is supposed to be in here, and the yellow is at the bottom. That's called a beautiful oops in art. It's a little mistake, but that's okay. But the whole point is, you should just have your computer out, you know, or whatever kind of device you're using to learn. Just have that out and learn something. You know, if you need to pause. Since this is not a live lesson, you can pause if you need to, and rewind it. Now, every other week, we are going to have a live lesson. So this week is a pre-recorded lesson, and next Monday will be a live lesson. I think on this one I'm going to go through my whole rainbow. I'm going to do Roy G. Biv, but you might be doing something different. I think I'm going to do this as a Roy G. Biv too. Sometimes following the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple can be kind of neat. So maybe this candy could be called rainbow candy or something like that. By the way, I've enjoyed getting all of your art sent through email to me. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate the time and effort you've put in to your work. Now, you know, if you did not have crayons at home, you could maybe just do some details with a pencil or something like that. But color really can add so much to your art. Alright, so next I'm gonna, guess I'll take this and turn this to another little peppermint. Now, when I was growing up, which was quite some time ago, we had these little candies called butterscotch. And the interesting thing about butterscotch is the cellophane is also yellow or orange. So I'm going to paint in my cellophane a little bit. And maybe add a little orange to it too, just because I'm going to do a little painting on top of painting here. I think I'm going to write lifesaver on my lifesaver. You don't have to do that. Oops. But it's something you can do if you want to. So I'm going to lifesaver. Oh. My handwriting is almost too big for this little lifesaver. Oh well. I think I'll do a green lifesaver. Maybe make it a little bit more saturated with more green. Okay. Even though I had a red Tootsie Roll Pop, for this pop, I think I'm going to make it a purple one. They do have purple ones. I think I remember that. I need to check my box of candy. By the way, if you want to do something called drawing observationally, something you can do is just get your own, if you have candy at home and if your parents will let you, get it out, look at it, and draw what you see. That's called observational drawing. Some of you may have remembered that from last year. We practiced that. So let's see what's next. I guess this, what am I going to do now? I'm going to make this candy a Blue Raspberry Jolly Rancher. And then for this one, let's see. I think I will go through. I need some more. Sometimes as you look at your art, you might notice that you might want to make really connecting the colors. I'm noticing over here I don't have any red in this area of my art, so I think I'm going to bring some red over here just because it's something that I want to do. So as I finish this up, I want to talk to you about the next little thing that's called wax resist. And some of you first graders may have remembered this from last year. When we do wax resist, we put crayon down and then you can paint on top of it. So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to pick a crayon that I want to use, and I am going to draw all over the background sort of hard with this. Not on top of the candy. I'm talking about all the space that is not the candy. In art we call that negative space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a color, and then I kind of want the background to be bright. Let me see what color crayon I want to use. Oh, this is kind of fun. if you use a yellow or a white, it can actually make your art very brilliant. In fact, if you use white for the wax resist, it's kind of like magical, what do they call it? It's disappearing ink. So right now I'm going to go all over my background with the white crayon, and I'm going to draw sort of hard with my white crayon. And you won't be able to see anything until I paint on top of it. That's kind of the cool thing about using white, but you could use any color crayon, okay? So I'm coloring in, and you don't have to do this either. You could make a tablecloth in your background or put some words or something, but it is kind of nice to do something to the background to unify the work. Unifying means bringing it all together. That's called unity. So now here I go, all over the place. I'm really trying hard not to accidentally color over my painting, because if I do that, I might end up having quite a mess on my hands. And some of my painting's still drying, or the pieces of candy are still drying. Okay. So now I've got that. Now I want to think about what kind of color I want to go over my crayon for that wax resist. And let's see, what would look nice? I think maybe the thing that might look really good, since I don't have that many pieces of candy that are green, I think green will really show up. It'll be something called high contrast, meaning opposite, because the only piece of green candy I have is this one. So if I go around with green all over my white, I'm thinking that probably that might look really cool. So here I go, putting my brush and my water into my paint, and I'm just going to brush over top of the crayon, and see what happens is the crayon pushes the paint away. So I have this really nice texture in the background from the crayon. It's just kind of like a fun technique you can try if you want to. So that's kind of neat, right? You might notice that the paint might glob up a little bit, but just keep it moving all over. By the way, if you're not doing this, if you're finishing yours in a different way, go for it. Or if you have to pause and rewind to remember something, that's fine. Okay, so here I go, painting away some more. Always remembering to rinse my brush before I switch my colors, because if you're working with paint, if you remember to rinse your brush before you switch colors, it keeps your paints nicer for longer. So it's something to try to remember. So, and of course you don't have to try the wax resist if you don't want to. It's just an, oops, oh my goodness, did I just spill my water? See, even Mr. Matron makes mistakes here, but that's okay. Just the whole point if you make a mistake is keep trying, right? It's not the end of the world. Effort really matters. Effort is very, very important in art. Maybe you've heard of the phrase, it's 10%. Well, you guys are the kindergartners and the first graders. I don't know if you've heard this before, but there's a phrase that says, what is it? Inspiration is 10%, perspiration is 90%. And I don't have the phrase exactly right, but Basically, that means the most important thing is to keep trying. I wonder what this wax resist would have looked like if I did yellow or something different. I have no idea. But I bet it would look cool. So, by the way, your class is going to end in about 5 more minutes. So you're going to need to bring your art to a close. And when I'm done with this lesson, you need to go back to your teacher and learn some other wonderful things today. And if you don't completely finish your art, that's okay too. You can always work on it later, or, you know, whatever you want to do with it. And I can see right now I should have picked a bigger paintbrush to get this job done. It's just kind of cool how the paint makes the crayon show up like it wasn't there. One thing that my son likes doing just for fun sometimes is writing words in crayon and then painting over, like with a white crayon, painting and then painting over it with a dark color, so it's a way to, you know, make some crayon words appear. That's kind of cool. Oops, sorry about that. So let me double check and make sure I got it all done the way I want it to be. So, also, when you're working on your art, you could decide to just draw. If you're more into drawing than coloring in, that's fine as well. You could just keep drawing. I know some students I know just love to draw with a pencil. If you just want to make a huge drawing with all different sorts of candy in it or whatnot, you can. But the one thing I need to have you do is just work the entire time. So anyways, now done. When you're done, you need to make sure after the 40 minutes are up, you go back to class. Anyways, I've had a lovely time with you guys. I hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you next week for a live lesson. Take care.